Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Today I come to you with a tutorial, or at least kind of a show you how I do my face. Now notice my eyes are not done. I'm going to be doing that in another video. I've had a request to use the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette and show you guys how I get some looks out of this. So I'm going to do that in another video, but if you'd like to see how I do my face and kind of prep everything for the final eye look that brings it all together, stay tuned and keep watching. And I am one that is guilty of doing my face first and then doing my eyes because I don't have the patience to see how something is going to completely turn out. After I do my eyes, I want that to be the last step and be like, oh, the look is done. It looks great. Instead of then having to do my face and then finally being able to see how the eyes and the face come together. So that's how I usually do my makeup. I know a lot of people do it the other way around, but both ways can certainly work. You just have to be kind of aware of fallout and be able to brush that off of your face before you, go out for the day or whatever it might be. So let me just go ahead and get started. Okay. So I just so happen to have this Smashbox sample lying around. It is open, but because I'm doing my makeup kind of at the end of the night, that's when I'm filming. Right now it is quite late, so this isn't going to be on for the full day. So I feel okay using this even though it has been open before. And I put it primarily on my nose area, and then my cheeks, and then I'll do it more lightly around the rest of my face. At the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my eyelid primer as well, so that has a little while to set. So I've just been using the e.l.f. Mineral Eyeshadow Primer. I do enjoy this stuff quite a bit. It's very cheap, $1 or $2, and it really does work. Okay, so then on top of the primer, the foundation for the foundation that I just put on, I'm gonna go in with my HD e.l.f. Lifting Concealer, e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer. I love this stuff. It is very brightening, works quite well. I just do it in kind of a triangle swoop shape under each of my eyes. And then I take a flat brush like this one. This I got in my BoxyCharm a couple months ago. And I press this in. So I press it in pretty much all the way back up, just below my temple. So I come pretty far back up there to the hairline and dip down, just pressing over the cheekbone. That's where I'm also ultimately gonna put my kind of powder highlight. So I wanna set a kind of foundation for that also. How that area is already brighter. And actually, I'm also going to put a little bit of the same product on my chin, up my nose, over my forehead. This isn't really trying to conceal any kind of blemishes, which you can see I've been having a breakout lately, so, but I'm not going to worry too much about covering those right now. So now I'm just going back with the same brush and patting in, tapping in that lifting concealer that I just put down. This will cover some of the redness, but not really very much of it. And if I was doing a cream contour, I would do that now as well, but I do not have any cream contouring product, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put my foundation on. And I've been trying to use up this sample from Ipsy, so I'm gonna use this PUR-LISSE. And the way that I apply this is I put it on my hand, a pretty good amount, and then I have been applying it with my beauty blender. So it's on my hand, I just kind of tap it. I'm sorry if you can hear people talking outside, it's my husband and roommate out there. So what I'm gonna do with this is press this into my face, and I'm still gonna go over the places that I just highlighted, maybe just a little bit more lightly. So let's get all this pressed in. You'll have to judge your own you know, foundation needs as you are applying your own foundation, of course. So pressing in, I will use a little bit more. Don't be afraid to go over the lips. When you put your lip color on, it will be nice to, a nice way to make it, that color pop against the rest of your skin if you have kind of primed them with the foundation. Okay, and you want everything nice and blended. So you don't want those places where you put the brightening concealer to stand out too much now. I'm gonna try to cover up some of these blemishes here. Cover, cover, cover. Just use a little bit more. Okay, and you always want to put the foundation on your hand first or something like that rather than just squirting it onto the tool that you're using to put it on your face. You can kind of warm it up and make sure it's all an even consistency before you apply it. So, okay, I think that's pretty good. I'll get the last little drops here, try to cover this. Okay. So, that looks alright. You can still kind of see these blemishes, but I'm not going to worry too much about them like I've already said. So there's the foundation on. I'm going to go in with my powder products. So I'm going to be using this bronze, or this contour shade, I should say, with my e.l.f. Ultimate Kabuki brush. Okay, and what I do is I just pick some up on the edge of the brush, like that, like so. Okay, pick it up on the edge of the brush, tap it off, and then I apply to the side like that. Okay, and then I'll come over here and do the same thing, like that. And then so that I'm not using too much powder, I switch from the side I put the product on, and now I have the blank side against my face to blend that in. It takes a minute, so be patient. And I'm gonna go up a little bit and down a little bit. I'm just trying to work it into the area. Okay, I think that looks okay. And then I come over here also with the blank side and do the same thing. And then I take the product that's left on the brush, I take that side again, and I'm going to put a little bit up at my hairline and buff that in and down and around my face. And I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, I have a mirror set up behind so that I can see myself behind the camera. So I'm sorry if I'm kind of looking through you, but at least you can see what I'm doing on my face. So I'm going on pretty hard with this brush right now, rubbing that same powder, the same contour powder in all the way around. Don't want any lines. Any lines giving away my bronzing. So what I'm trying to do with this is darken the outside of my face and leave what they call a triangle of light. At least that's what I've heard Wayne Goss call it, right? A triangle of light here from across your brows and down to kind of your Cupid's bow, or you could extend it down to the bottom of your chin. So you want this area to be much lighter than your cheeks in the back of your face area, right? If you're trying to sculpt, you're trying to make your best features kind of move forward in your face, right? So that's why you're brightening where you want things to come forth, and you're shadowing things that you don't necessarily want to emphasize. So I feel pretty okay with that bronzing. Maybe I'll add more later. We'll see how I feel. But for right now, I think that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add blush and, oh no, not blush yet, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna take my a yellow powder here. It's from the same set that I got the contour powder in. So anyway, I'm gonna take the same brush that I used for the cream brightener, the cream concealer, and I'm gonna dip that into the yellow powder here and put that in the same place that I put the cream concealer earlier. Just make sure you're picking up enough of it there. Want it nice and bright and nice and smooth looking. Okay, down the side of my nose, up to the same place that I put the concealer before. Nice and bright. Okay, I'm gonna put a little down here where I put that concealer before, and I'll put a little bit up here. Okay, so even now, this looks a little bit stark, I think, at least it does for me in the viewfinder. But once I get the blush on and my shimmery highlight, I think it'll look a little bit more even, and you'll be able to see, you know, where I'm going with all of this. So now let's do blush. So I'm grabbing my Luxie 504. Just a blush brush. Which one should I use here? I think these three are e.l.f. That's e.l.f. NYX, Model Company, NARS. Let's see. I've been liking this darker blush for now because it's getting to be winter, right? It's fall. I'm gonna tap off the excess there. And I'm just gonna go in right between where I put that contour and where I just put my highlighting powder. And just kind of buff it in. And kind of come up to the apples of your cheeks. You don't wanna put it all the way in the front there though, but just buff it in nicely. Okay. That actually might be a little bit much, so if it's too much, I just get another brush, fluffy one, and fluff it out. Okay, that's a little bit tamer, I think. I'm gonna pick up the same blush, tap it off, and the other side. And you can bring the blush pretty far back. Of course, you want a little bit more of the color kind of up farther on your face, right? Where your natural flush would be. Okay. And then just my highlight. So I have a little sample of the Balm's Lou-Manizer right here. Pick that up. And I'm gonna put it on pretty generously because even at night when I'm about to take off what I'm doing right now, I like to glow. So that on and just rub it in. Oh, this is a Luxie 205. Maybe not the best brush for this, but that's okay. It's just what I grabbed for some reason. That's another thing. I've been finding the more makeup I've been doing is you can use any brush for pretty much anything. If you think it can work, it might be able to work. So, you know, I mean, of course, if you're trying to put on your eyeshadow, this isn't gonna work, but there's always room for creativity, right? So I'm just gonna load that up right there and put some on the other side. And down my nose. So that's pretty much what we're looking at right there. Now, actually, I think I kind of skipped a step in order to just make it all blend together. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this Laura Mercier foundation, Balance and Brighten foundation. I don't know, they call it foundation. I find it's just a setting powder for me. I don't know, I'm not official with any of this stuff. So I take a big fluffy brush. This one is from It Cosmetics and it's a heavenly powder brush. I love this thing, it's so soft. Just dip it on in there. I'm just gonna run this around the whole face. And the only product that I might want to retouch up after I've done this is probably that highlight. I should have done this before the highlight, but that's okay. So I've been liking this powder. I put on a good amount of this just to get, like I said, to get everything blended and to set that liquid BB cream that we put on. So there we go, and that toned down the blush a little bit. I was a little bit worried about the blush, so that's a little bit better. That highlight is still there. I think that's okay, but I'm gonna put a little bit more on. This time I'm going to grab a better brush. This one's pretty good. This is from Morphe. This is an M218. So, and I just started using this for highlight. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of a flimsy brush, but I guess it's kind of what it's supposed to be. I don't know. Okay, so I'm taking the same highlight, the Lou-Manizer from the Balm, and renewing that on my cheekbones. Bringing it around. Go. Ooh, almost looks wet. Okay, that's all right. So this is basically my face. Oh, brows. Can't forget brows. This is the last thing that we'll do. So get my two little products here. I've been using this Chella crayon. This what do they call it? Ivory lace highlighter. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to use the Gimme Brow from Benefit. So let me put this on. What I'm going to do is basically outline my brow, and then with this pencil, and then kind of rub it in or blend it in together. So it'll create a nice outline for the brow line. I just use my finger, blend it all together with all the product that I've been putting down before. And putting the highlighter underneath your brow is also going to help your eyeshadow highlighter to pop just that much more from your brow. So there's one. You can kind of see the difference between the two brows. But it won't be as obvious in just a few minutes once we get more emphasis on the eyes. Okay. Alright, so now that I've done my little highlighting crayon around my brows, I'm going to take Benefit Gimme Brow and just run this through my brows. So I'm just going to do short little strokes and come all the way down to the end of my brow. And just fill them out. This isn't really going to be very good for anybody who has very sparse brows, but for me, who is gifted with plenty of hair, this works just fine, just to fill in, just to make it a little bit more smooth, so you can kind of see the difference between the two there. So I'll do the other one. So there's my other brow. I think my brows, I'm coming to terms with the fact that they're just kind of uneven on my face. So, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. So this is my face look. This is pretty, that was everything that I do. Like I said, even without the eyes being done, you can tell things are looking kind of stark here under the eyes. You know, it doesn't look like one piece yet, but once I get the eyes on, it will look much more cohesive. Now you've seen how I put my face together and how it all works for me. Now, as most YouTubers always say, this is what I find works for me. It might not work for you, you know, and that's just something you kind of have to feel around and find out. It took me a while to come up with this set of things to do and products to use, and that's just going to depend on your price point and your you know, abilities, and the more you practice, the better you're gonna get. I'm not sure I'm quite that good yet, but at least I'm working on it, right? So I hope you guys learned something. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions down below. And before you do go, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one so you can see how I do my eyes. Bye.